$170,000. That's how much it costs to have the greatest copy of Giant Size X-Men #1 in your collection. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video with Swaggle. And in this video, we got to talk about the world record being set last night for this GX1. The infamous 9.9 finally went on sale. And was it a big number? Is it a small number? I'm not actually sure. You know, at the time, yesterday, we did a stream. Shout out to Coleman Comic Books and Automatic Comic Books. If you guys want to check out our stream and commentary alongside of the auction, you know, we talk about this book and a lot of the other books. When we saw it all close, all of us were a little bit underwhelmed, I think, with the number. We kind of thought that, ironically, this might actually be a pretty decent buy for this book. But at the same time, having slept on it and kind of looking back now and trying to take the sale for what it is, I think 170,000 is a big number. You know what I mean? I think that this is a monster number to be paying for this book. So in this video, I kind of wanted to just do a little bit of a recap on this, talk about the sale, also talk a little bit about Wolverine #1, the CGC 10.0 that went up for auction as well. But before I do, if you guys could like, comment, subscribe, I appreciate it. Helps support the channel, doing those things. But let us get into this video here today. There you guys see it, 9.9 white pages mint with the gold number right there. You know, this book has been scrutinized. It's been looked at by every single YouTube channel, Instagram account, Facebook page, Reddit forum. Everybody has had an opinion on this thing. And it's definitely a beautiful book. A lot of people pointing out the stapleware right there. How did this book get a 9.9? Well, nobody really knows, but at the end of the day, it did get a 9.9. And someone was still willing to pay $170,000 for it. And that's kind of why I feel like, you know, upon reflection, this number is actually pretty huge. You know, maybe there was a time early on when this book came out, a lot of people were giving their predictions on what this thing should sell for. You know, I knew firsthand people that were talking about willing to spend $300,000 on it. A lot of people were saying this could be $400,000, $500,000, maybe upwards of $600,000. I even saw the $1 million prediction getting thrown around for this book. But maybe we just all got a little too ahead of ourselves, because when you think about it, 170,000 is still the world record. I believe the record sale for this particular book was at $72,000 back in June of 2021. Obviously, like many books after COVID, this one took a nosedive. We see the recent sales for this one, 24,000, 34,000, 22,000. So even at the top of the market for this book at 72,000, the fact that there was a 0.1 added to this grade right here just manufactured $100,000. Just like that. You know, someone was willing to spend that much money. And really, if you're actually taking into account, you know, what this book actually sells for in the last, say, 90 days or so, where you're seeing a lot of 30s and 20s, etc. I mean, this 0.1 number just generated $130,000. You know, just like that. So actually, I think that that's pretty impressive. I mean, also considering that this is now the second most expensive Bronze Age comic book there is in the market. Not to say that that will always be the case, but if you guys remember, the Marvel Spotlight 5 first appearance of Ghost Rider sold, you know, back in 2021 for $250,000. It was around $250,000 that a 9.8 went on for sale back in that year. I think there's 4 on the census. Now, apparently there's been a private sale that's gone for even higher, you know, around the $300,000, $400,000 range for that book. So this is still number 2 behind that one. And I'm sure that if a Hulk 181 9.9, which there actually is 199 on the census, if that ever went for sale, that would definitely set the record. But, you know, 170, this is higher than any 9.8 of Hulk 181 has ever sold for. So it's pretty decent. A pretty decent sale, especially if you go to earlier in the night. I mean, again, if you guys want to watch the stream, this book was sitting at $90,000, kind of when the auction started, which usually is not a good sign for a book in terms of like where it's going to finish. I mean, again, where a book is sitting at a time of an auction is not necessarily a predictor of what it's going to sell for. But at the same time, it was like, okay, this has a long way to go to get to a quote unquote respectable number. You know, especially if people were thinking that this was going to be a $300,000, $500,000 book. So it's kind of interesting. You know, it did get some bids in there, you know, 42 bids at the end of it. So it felt like maybe there were 3 or 4 buyers that were interested in this book towards the tail end of the countdown. But what do you guys think about this one? Are you guys disappointed in this number? Do you think that this was a low sale? Do you think that the conversations and the controversy surrounding this book took away from the people who are actually bidding on it and buying it? Let me know in the comments. Now, next up, we had this one right here, Wolverine, the limited series #1. You guys know this book. First solo Wolverine comic, the classic Frank Miller cover. And this one having the rare CGC 10.0 distinction. There you see it, gem mint, 10.0, gold number, white pages, one of 4 copies on the census. Now, a lot of people were talking about this book. It was a little bit controversial because this is one that came onto the census very recently in combination with a bunch of other Wolverine limited #1s that were also sent in. So this particular submitter got a 10.0, they got some 9.9s, and they got a bunch of 9.8s as well. And so a lot of people were kind of doing the eye roll when this one came to market. But, this book does exist in a 10.0. I mean, like I said, this is the 4th one on the census. 9.9s have 39 on the census. And 9.8s have a whopping 4,128 on the census. Now, the 9.9 sold earlier in this year. You can see right there. Last sale, 1-14, 2024 for $15,600. The 10.0 went on sale all the way back in 2009, and that sold for $15,535. Well, as you guys already saw, this book right here, the 10.0, selling for $27,000. What do you guys think about that number right there? I mean, there's sort of 2 ways you can kind of look at it. On the one hand, once again, this is the world record for this book. This is the highest number that anyone has ever paid for Wolverine #1. So on the one hand, that is a massive number. On the other hand, you're sort of like, for a 10.0 for this book, I mean, a lot of people were throwing out $50,000, some people going up to $60,000. I think New Mutants 98 9.9s and other Copper Age 9.9s typically get around the $40,000 mark. So maybe this is also, ironically, funny enough, a pretty decent buy. But this one didn't feel like it was as desired. I mean, only 30 bids on this one. I think when the auction started, it was hovering around the $22,000 range. And it really only got a couple more bids in before it closed. So it wasn't necessarily one that, a lot of people bidding on this thing were kind of battling it out to get their hands on it. And maybe that has to do with, again, the kind of conversation around the book. I mean, there's 3 other copies out there in the wild. There's other 9.9s. I mean, we certainly know that there's many raw copies that could continue to be graded. More 10s could come onto the market. I mean, I've said it many times on the channel before, a lot of the Copper Age books, you're definitely rolling the dice a little bit, if you're buying at the quote unquote top of census, because it's only the top of census at this moment in time. There's certainly a possibility that more could be added to that top. And so that's kind of the risk that you take when you are the person, willing to pay the highest price ever paid for a book like this. And similarly, ever paid for a book like this as well. I mean, whoever the buyers were set the world record. And there you have it, guys. Giant Size X-Men #1, CGC 9.9, after all the conversation, after all the talk, finally settling in at $170,000. What did you guys think about this number? I certainly hope that this went to a X-Men collector. I hope the person that bought this book is going to hold this one for a long, long time. I don't want to see this one again. I'd be very, very disappointed if I see this book on a dealer wall, at San Diego Comic-Con. Or if we see this book, again in the next 2 years going up for sale at another auction house. I would be disappointed if that ends up happening. I hope that this one went to, Hugh Jackman or Ryan Reynolds or whoever actually wanted to buy this thing. Anyways, that's all right for this video. What did you guys think about the sale? What did you guys think about the numbers? What do you guys think about the state of the market right now? Are these top end sales, and the lack of major numbers coming across, I'm referencing the Detective 27. Do you guys think that this is an indication of the state of the market? Or do you think that this is a specific niche within comics all themselves? Let me know what you guys think. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. See you on the next video.